Today we are going to discuss what the left hand does at impact. All right, a lot of the times when we see the ball go off to the right, it's more of a, not only is it a product of your downswing, yes, you could, if you're hitting it right, it could be steep or over the top, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of the time it's the product of, we just don't know how to really release our hands. We don't know what the left hand should be doing. So in this video, stay tuned. We're going to help you hit the ball straighter, definitely hit it longer, and kind of start learning how to control your ball flight by learning what that left hand should be doing at impact. So oftentimes what most average golfers struggle with is the fact that they don't know that that club should almost start closing on the way down. We've all tried to hold that lag and then they try to flip it at the last minute. And that's kind of what's happened a lot with people who try to lag it so much. They hit the ball so right because that club face almost looks like that on the way down, and it should really be closing down towards the ground. All right, so you can kind of think about this in two different ways. So first off, when you get to the top of your backswing, what your left hand is going to feel like it starts to do is, if it's not flat already, it is going to start flattening or even getting into more of a bow position. All right, so you can just kind of practice that position right there, taking it to the top and just feeling what it feels like to have that bowed position. So when you get into that bowed position, you can see that your hands are ahead of the golf club, and that's really what we're looking for good impact versus poor impact. And you can see we have that cup in my wrist rather than either straight or bowed. Okay, that's how you're going to see the pros on tour control their ball flight also. So if they come into it here versus here, we know this is going to be lower, this will be a little bit higher, this will definitely be high, and usually when somebody hits a flop shot, the club kind of passes in front of the hands to help hit it higher. So if you're somebody who hits it right, most likely you also hit it high because you're coming into it with a cupped wrist and you're doing that, or you're trying to save it at the last minute. And those are the folks who tend to hit slices, and then every once in a while they hit this big hook and they just don't really understand why. So the simplest thing that you can do to really control your ball flight, start hitting it straight, even if you're steep over the top, it's way better to hit a pole, all right, than hit a big banana slice to the right. If you consistently pull it, you can consistently aim a little bit to the right and pull it down the fairway. If you hit a big slice, the more you aim left, the bigger it's going to become, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna work on taking it to the top, and I would start small, maybe start off of a tee. Okay, it'll be a little bit easier that way. You'll take it to the top. If you have a little bit of a cupped wrist, maybe if you can get it to straight, that's great. If you can get a little bit almost feeling bowed, it's gonna be a little bit easier for you. Okay, that's why we see Dustin Johnson and some of those guys have that bowed wrist. It's because all they have to do is then drive it down and they've already got that impact position. But if you can't really feel your hands, if you can feel the club head, that helps out too, is just thinking about the club head kind of closing down towards the ground versus coming this way. You can see a lot of us who lose extension, we come this way and then we try to flip it, okay? Because we've released the hands, pulled it that way. And that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of early extension in golf, versus if you feel like you're bowing that wrist and you're staying down with it, automatically your body likes to stay into that posture because it's here. Because if you come up this way, we know we top it a lot, so basically your body learns what it needs to do. So just get it. So the next time you're out on the course, just take it to the top of that backswing, work on feeling like that club face is closing down towards the ground. It's okay if you're a little bit steep, you're just gonna hit poles. If you're a little shallow, you're just going to hit that draw, maybe a little bit sweeping draw, depending on how shallow you are into the golf ball. So good luck, go practice what that left hand should be do. Great drill is just to feel what it feels like to do that. We want our hands to do that. That's why impact bags and things like that really help us learn how our hand should come into impact, and then the left hand just has to feel like it bows into impact to help us square up that face. Don't try to save it late. It'll be hard for you to be consistent that way.